This is a story about greed and about fear. It centers on a young man who spent many years working for international banks in the Square Mile, London's financial heartland where millions are made. His was a successful career, one typical of an investment banker. And yet, Geraint Anderson's life didn't quite go according to plan.
I wanted to be number one. I wanted to get that big bonus. Also, to me, it was always just a simple dream. I'll just be able to retire in 5 years' time.
The London office of the television business news channel CNBC. It closely monitors the world of high finance. For months now, share prices have been plummeting. The stock market is in free fall.
So the people who really know what's going on with our economies are really, really worried, and that's why we've got a sea of red. There's blood on the streets. This is literally credit crunch in your face right now.
The City, home of Britain's financial services industry. Geraint Anderson made a fortune here, but now he feels like a culprit returning to the scene of the crime. The City has become alien for him.
This current situation is worse than I thought, yeah. I don't think many people predicted Bear Stearns falling, Lehman's falling, British banks being nationalised, American insurance companies being nationalised. I mean, it's actually a crisis of unprecedented proportions. It's biblical, it's biblical what's going on, actually.
Geraint Anderson made money here for 12 years. Over those 12 years, the city changed and turned Anderson into a different person.
It's a bit weak.
His parents live in the upmarket suburb of Notting Hill. His father comes from a working-class background. A lifelong supporter of the Labour Party, he became a Member of Parliament and today sits in the House of Lords. His son was given every opportunity. Geraint went to good schools and studied history at Cambridge. But his plans for the future were less than conventional.
After university, he went to India. He thought of becoming a trader in importing Indian textiles. We thought we'd possibly lost him to India as he loved India so much.
In the mid-90s, Geraint spent months traveling throughout Asia. A young man with a myriad of thoughts in his head. But not one of them was focused on a career. He had other ideals.
He always believed that you should do a job you love rather than one for money, that happiness is more important than money, that you should be able to express yourself and travel the world and learn about different cultures and have different experiences rather than going to work every morning on the tube and sitting in an office.
So yeah, I was just a sort of travelling, left-wing, dope-smoking, beach-dwelling hippie.
Geraint Anderson drifted for a long time, but he found himself grappling more and more with the unpleasant realization that even a hippie needs money.
Well, of course he needed money. I mean, he had to have something to earn, and he didn't seem to have any specific profession. Parents always like their children to go into a nice profession. But he wasn't going to be a lawyer, a lecturer, teacher, doctor. So he hadn't actually marked out a particular